Hello and welcome. You're watching Money 9. I'm Sakshi Batra, and on this show, we talk all about markets with experts who know what is really going to happen in the markets right up next and how should you be handling your investments in equities as an asset class. I'm joined by a very special guest on this show with me is Mr. Gurmeet Chatta, who is the co-founder of Complete Circle Consultants on this edition of Market Masterclass. Gurmeet, thank you so much for taking out time for us for this very, very important discussion. And this comes at the backdrop of very good news flowing in, not just other markets, at record high levels, but we've also overtaken France in terms of Indian markets, market cap as well. So I wanted to just take your comment on the kind of euphoria we have seen in the markets, the parabolic move in the markets. We've seen 10,000 points of a rise on the Nifty, virtually no correction in the last 17 or 18 odd months. How are you viewing the markets at this point?
Yeah, so Sakshi, these are how markets are, right? They keep surprising you both ways. March, we thought probably, a lot of companies are going bust. Nifty will hit 5,000, and then look at where we are, 16, 17 months down the line. I think three, four things stand out. I think one, we made a point. India is one of the best performing markets globally amongst the large economies. If you see from March lows, we are almost 150% up. If you look at US, that's about 100%. Nasdaq is about 115%. World average is about 76%. Even on FII flows, there has been differentiation. So Indian Brazil has obviously got high inflows. YTD, we have got almost $9 billion since we are talking about YTD, with Nifty up 25%. So there is a differentiation also which is happening. While obviously it's been a global rally, and I think large part of this is led by Fed and central banks printing money, vaccination progress. I think one factor which we often don't discuss in business channel is the way we have vaccinated about more than 75 crore people, especially last 2 months. But cautions have to be drawn. You have to become now risk managers. You don't get every year like this, and you have to be more selective now. It's like you've scored a century. You need to take fresh guard to ensure you don't get out playing a rash shot.
Yes, exactly. That is what I was about to ask you. That is it the time to exercise caution, or is it the time? What should one do really? Should one take off the profit, sell, and regret perhaps, or just ignore the obvious risk that there is?
No, but as I said, you need to raise your level of research. You need to raise your guard, and I think be selective now. Do not just chase momentum. We've seen some of the IPOs recently not doing that well, having subpar listings. So the market is now differentiating, and park yourself where there is good earnings growth. There are 4 or 5 themes which to me are like a decade theme, which is where you should now focus more on. So something like, for example, financialization of savings, right? We are seeing 14, 15 lakh demat account being opened, new accounts being added in MF folios. I think that's a fairly secular theme. Same for healthcare. A lot of opportunity happening with China plus one kind of a play and import substitution in CRAM space, and there are others we will discuss as we go along. So rebalance your asset allocation. Don't just go overboard looking at 6 months, 12-month returns. That's often a very bad strategy, to just look at near-term returns. Do not just shift money from FD or debt funds just because equity is doing well and FD is giving you 5-6%.
Yeah.
Just be more balanced. I'm not very bearish or very negative on market, but the return expectations have to mellow down.
Yes, absolutely. And, very well put out there for all those viewers or investors, potential investors feeling this FOMO that I'm not getting any return in my FD, so I should just pull out my money. Perhaps this may not be the time to be very aggressive because we have seen a stupendous rally. We still don't know if there are more legs to it or not, but a balanced approach, like you said, is definitely very, very something that everybody must be very careful about. Wanted to ask you if indeed a correction does come, which are the pockets that you believe will get affected more, and which are the pockets that one should now look at as investing opportunities in the market?
So I think so. I'll take which are the ones which probably are looking better from a long-term perspective.
Yeah.
I covered financialization of savings. So
Yeah.
all your niche financials like life insurance, I think our insurance penetration is amongst the lowest in the world.
Yeah.
Asset management businesses, somebody like a CDSL or CAMS,
Mm.
duopoly plays, and we are seeing this financialization of savings playing out. I like this healthcare space a lot. Within healthcare, you have unbranded generics, you have branded generics, you have APIs and CRAMS, and you have diagnostics. I'm most
Yeah.
gung on APIs and CRAMS. I think the global pharma outsourcing opportunity is more than $100 billion. Our top company is hardly $400 million, which is DV. So I think there is a long runway here.
Yes.
I like this housing space. I think we are
Mm.
with decade low home loan rates. I was seeing a figure that your property price to annual income is now 3.2, which is the lowest ever, which means that affordability has gone up, interest rates are low, and this work from home and work from anywhere is leading to a home improvement theme. So entire this housing theme, which includes housing finance guys, building material guys like paints, pipes, cement, tiles, etc. This looks very very good. Technology, I think the weightage of technology in Nifty, Sakshi, is only 15%. S&P
Okay.
500, the weightage is 30%. China, the weightage
Mm.
is 32%. The weightage of tech will go up. So you have to be good at selecting. Obviously everything is expensive right now,
Yes.
but this
Yes.
looks to me, these three four themes look to me more long term than these. From a let's say if I take a 5 year plus kind of.
Right. So you did talk about technology, which has definitely been the outperformer of this month, this year, you may call it, and the entire pandemic times, because they've virtually held everybody together and not let businesses disrupt. Would you also add the new age digital companies here? Because we have seen these Zomatos of the world really come and surprise everybody, despite the kind of no profits on the books, but it's just that because it is used in every household, and the kind of story that we've been seeing, the successful story, and everybody is on there ordering our food. So we are very bullish on this. Now we're going to see Paytm, Policy Bazaar, Nykaa, which is again, a lot of the consumers are out there and using these products on an everyday basis, household names again. So we are still to see this. Do you think this will be another theme that one should track?
Oh, definitely. And I think you need different lens to view these companies. You can't measure them with the P price book, those models. I think that won't help. So you have to play like what VCs do. Three questions you have to ask yourself: Are these companies here to stay? The answer is yes. I think all these companies have become very integral part of our day-to-day living.
Yes.
Is this the final business model? And the answer is no. I think the companies will evolve. I don't know Zomato will be an internet company, software company, grocery company. How it will evolve, we have to see. But same for a Policy Bazaar or a Paytm. These are basically consumer data analytics companies, which will the business models will evolve. Uh,
Hmm.
and here the winner takes all. So you have to play the game like VCs do. You create a bucket, and mind you have to be a high risk
Yes.
taking investor. These are not for conservative investors. Make a bucket, take some 10, 12 ideas, and hope that few of them will bomb, and few of
Yeah.
them will make up for it. So that's how this entire thing has to be played. Keep learning, keep evolving, and add different sectors. You can add fintechs, you can add edutechs, like let's say the Byju's of the world
Yes.
tomorrow. You can have aggregators like Policy Bazaar. There is Nykaa, which is the B2C retailing marketplace. We have some of the listed names like India Energy Exchange, which has become an energy marketplace. So there are
Hmm.
so many of them. So diversify yourself, keep it as a small part of the portfolio, and hope some of them do well, and some of them won't do well. So be prepared for it.
Yeah, yeah. I'll talk to you about some sectors, and then we can talk about some stocks also which have been in news. One is the banks are out of the slumber finally. They seem to look like that. At least we've seen the Nifty Bank again climb up to the record levels, which made investors wait for a very long time. Is there merit in looking at the banks, especially the PSU banks, which have had a strong run in the last few sessions?
I don't think so. You have to really become very adventurous in banking and financials. I think while I agree with you, maybe the worst is probably behind us. But if I were to talk about PSU banks, I would not prefer to go beyond SBI. Their restructured loans are only 0.7, 0.8% of the book, which probably is the best in the category. In fact, comparable to private banks. I was having a look at their SMA 1, SMA 2 book, which is the stress book. That looks very reasonable, which means the future credit cost estimates would hold. Uh, they are doing a great job. So it's the only bank actually which has gained market share amongst PSUs,
Yes.
both in liabilities as well as assets. I like all the subsidiaries. All of them are doing very well. SBI Life, SBI Cards. You would possibly see SBI Mutual Fund listing. Let's say it's the largest fund house now. And at 1.2, 1.3 book value, it's still far more reasonable vis-a-vis the HDFC, the Kotak, etc. of the world. So stick to the top ones in my view. Maybe HDFC, ICICI, the Kotak in the private space, and maybe look at SBI. Don't really try and find the next HDFC, the next ICICI of the world. Can be a little tricky, these valuations.
Okay, so not getting very lucky so soon as far as the HDFCs of the world are concerned. But talking about the auto space, of course, we've seen that they've had a bad period so far when it's related to the muted demand of two-wheelers, the shortage of semiconductors. But all these problems are not going to last forever. We are headed towards the festive season. Exports are also rising. Do you see? And the auto PLI scheme has now come out. Does it benefit any particular stocks or companies that you think that investors should now keep on their radar? Maruti is come off its high quite a bit. It's not performed very well. Do you think some of these marquee names should be something on the radar now?
You can definitely keep reviewing. Auto is one sector which would be a good reopening trade as things improve. But the semiconductor shortage is not going to go down in a hurry, and there will be a lot of disruption because of EV and these engines. So I think you have to be very clear and understand the domain well. This is not the old auto where you can just simply bet on the largest PV player or the largest two-wheeler player. So what you can do is make 2-3 sub-parts of it. One is the content. How many on the auto ancillaries guys who are providing the maximum content per vehicle? So something like a Minda Industries makes airbags, sensors, switches, horns, lighting, alloy wheels. So it's actually a play on more content per car or more kit value per car, right? Then you can look at something which will be a part of the EV ecosystem, which are the guys which are into so something like a Sona Comstar, which came up with an IPO, very expensive. It makes hybrid gears and hybrid assembly engines and supplies them to the most OEMs. And then look at I also think the agriculture play, which is this tractor play, etc., will play out as we see more state elections coming and more thrust on agriculture being revived. So you have to be selective. And I agree with you. They haven't participated in the rally. So and all these problems are temporary. But it may not. The sector may not be out of the woods immediately. It probably will take some more time.
Last two questions there. One from the FMCG space. We have seen a good rally over here. Some of the stocks, reaching all-time highs as well. ITC finally showed some kind of green ticks. That 7% move on a single day, and the social media was flooded with all kinds of memes on a day as well. I saw you also tweet about it as well. So, your thoughts here and on ITC for all those investors, good time to stay put. How should they, view this space?
No, ITC has been one enigma. If you ask me, makes about 15,000 crore kind of profit and still valued at half what HUL is, right? And HUL makes half the profit. So I think the key trigger for ITC from a long-term perspective, Sakshi, would be the demerger of the FMCG business, right? And value unlocking, because cigarettes still make up about 80%. Of the bottom line. Secondly, this ESG thing, anything around tobacco, alcohol, coal, dirty fuels, we are not seeing a lot of, we are in a different world and we have to probably see things very differently. So I think a demerger of the FMCG business, any stake sale by the government would, and any value unlocking would, well, also the FMCG margins are still single digit. You probably need those margins to go up, right, to do well. So while valuations are very comforting, ITC is good for a conservative investor, gives you a good dividend yield also, if I were to say that. And more gung-ho on companies which are adding new categories, right, getting into, as I said, home consumption, right? So somebody like a Tata Consumer, which is getting into pulses, spices, somebody like a Marico, which is adding, breakfast oats and moving from hair oil and typical cooking oil to more categories. So so as you expand the pie, that's when your the revenues go up and consequently your return ratios improve. But valuations are very, very expensive of FMCG. You can't give 100 P's and then expect very good returns, right? Whenever you have entered paying 100 P multiple in the past, the near-term returns haven't been that great.
Yes, understood that. I'm sure that is very, all the people who are listening to you are nodding in tandem because they have this large portfolio of FMCG defensive stocks in their portfolio. But we have, like you also pointed out in your interaction, that we've seen this flood of new investors coming in, participating. They have been the king makers in the daily cash volumes. They've had the maximum amount of chunk. But we've always in history seen that whenever there's a raging bull market and there's a rising retail participation, chances of making mistakes are the highest. And that's when, if the foreign investors pull out, there are places where you will actually leave and go away. We hope that this doesn't happen this time around, and hope that investors have matured. But for all those investors still invested at this point, your key tips as to how to handle if anything untoward happens in the markets.
I think that's the most important question right now. My two piece on this is I've seen 2008 and
Yeah.
markets cracked 70% from 21,000 to 8,800 on the Sensex. I remember the date; it was 25th, 26th of October 2008, and it took about 7 months to come back. Right, so. So do not react in case you see corrections are integral to equity. Returns are not linear,
Hmm.
and so 10% correction once in a year, 20% once in 2 3 years, more than 40 50% once in 5 7 years. It will happen, and you have to be ready for it, right? And what past has taught us is that corrections are the time to actually get aggressive and not all time highs. This is not the time to get very so stay the course. Have a plan in place. A plan is more important than your stock tips and intelligence. Have a financial plan in place, keep the discipline intact, and actually you should be happy with volatility. If you are an SIP investor, pick up an index fund, couple of good funds, step up your SIPs when you see a lot of volatility, and stay the course. Don't just redeem because you think the market is not going to do well. You redeem when your goals are near, right? So link it to a plan, right, and follow the process. I think that would hold you good. India should do, whether it's been whichever government in place. Sensex has become 100 to 58,000, and we have seen Kargil wars or scams, everything in last 30 40 years, right? So believe in the industry story, and don't get swayed by short-term volatility.
Absolutely. Well, great advice there. On that note, thank you so much, Gurmeet, for sharing your these
Pleasure.
wonderful insights with all our viewers, and the way that they must be approaching when the markets are already at these top of the notch and record highs. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure having
Pleasure.
you with us on Money Now.
Pleasure, sir.
And with that, we wrap up this edition of Market Masterclass, and we'll keep getting you such interesting conversations so that you can get to know how our experts really analyzing the stock markets, so that you don't make any mistakes and you stay the course, just like how Gurmeet said, and have a plan in place so that you can ride any kind of waves with profitability in your portfolios. Thanks a lot for tuning in for now.